Please pause to read the disclaimer. For the 4th of July weekend, we hiked the Maunawili Traverse from Pali Lookout to Waimanalo. It was a trail bagging hike. In hiking, trail bagging means that you hike a trail for the first time to say that you hiked it. There are several trails around the area such as Old Pali Road Hike, Maunawili Falls, Olomana 3 Peaks, and Ohana Trail. There are a lot more trails that I omitted here. It was about 10.3 miles with 1,800 feet elevation gain and 4,100 feet elevation loss. Leon parked his car at Pali Lookout Parking. It's open at 0600. We got there at 0610, and surprisingly, there were already a couple of cars. As of the 6th of July, non-residents pay $7 per car, and free for the residents. Heading to infamous Pali Lookout Point. It is one of hottest tourist spots in Oahu. From the lookout, it has the fantastic views of some Kailua area and the Kaneohe Bay. The lookout area is always windy. It was blowing about 30 knots of wind. Just below Pali Lookout, the spot was known for the year 1795 battle where King Kamehameha drove defending warriors over the cliff and unified the Hawaiian Islands under one ruler. All except for the islands of Kauai and Niihau that were later unified through negotiation in 1895. Here was our selfie before hitting the trail. Trail starts by going over this fence to Old Pali Road. This is Old Pali Road, built in 1845 to connect windward Oahu with Honolulu. The Old Pali Road had 22 hairpin turns. The current Pali Highway was officially dedicated in December 1962. So, the Old Pali Road had used for 117 years. And the current Pali Highway has been used for 63 years. As we just started walking down on Old Pali Road, its wind got stronger, maybe at 40 knots. Then, it quickly calmed down significantly. There were a few spots that you were out of the woods and had the views. Again, it's mainly the views of the Kaneohe Bay. This was less than a mile in. The bushes have overgrown a bit since we hiked this portion of the trail for the Maunawili Falls hike back in January 2024. Once again, you would have a few spots like this for the Kaneohe Bay views. This was less than a mile in. We were approaching the crash site of one of two B-17 bombers. On the 1942 Easter Sunday night, 4 months after the attack on Pearl Harbor, two B-17 crashed on Oahu and 19 lives were lost due to bad weather and blacked out conditions. One of two B-17s crashed here. This was about 1.25 miles from the Pali Lookout parking lot. This is the trail junction. The Old Pali Road continues on this hairpin turn to left. We hiked its road back in 2023. We continued on straight toward the Maunawili Trail. From here on about 1.3 miles from trailhead, it's a single-lane hiking trail. You would walk through this fence right after the junction. It is right next to the current Pali Highway. It was about 1.5 miles in. We are now out of forest canopy. Here is a wonderful view of the Olomana 3 Peaks. Leon and I hiked the Olomana 3 Peaks once. I hiked the Olomana 3 Peaks 3 times in 4 years. This was about 1.8 miles in. This is a trail junction with Pali Highway to left and Maunawili Trail to right. If go left to Pali Highway, there are parking areas for several cars. You can start hiking from there as well. Go right at this junction. There is a faded sign here. We have been here before when we hiked the Maunawili Falls from the Pali Lookout. The Maunawili Falls Trail from north was indefinitely closed in 2021 for improvements and preservation of cultural sites. Throughout the Maunawili Trail, we crossed many of these creeks. As we go further east, the creeks were drier. These wooden flanks were very nice. They were relatively new. I came across these beautiful flowers on the trail. The mountain orchids are fading away. We came across this structure. Looks like a water tank that is not in use. There were several downed trees on the trail. Please note that I omitted lots of videos on downed trees. This was about 2 miles in. This is the trail junction with Piliwale Ridge to the right. I have not done the Piliwale Ridge Trail yet. It can be connected to K2, Pali Puka Trail, and Pali Lookout. Go right at the junction but not to the Piliwale Ridge. I forgot to mention that its trails were dug up quite a bit by the feral pigs. Its trail had lots of mountain apples. This was at 0800. We started hiking at 0610. We getting close to the Maunawili Waterfalls Trail Junction, which is about 3.5 miles from Pali Lookout. Its trail was wet and slippery. I slowed down here a bit since it was quite slick. We were approaching the Maunawili Waterfalls Trail Junction. The Olomana 3 peaks are ahead of us, slightly left of us. The Olomana 3 peaks are just 2 miles away from here geographically. Here was the Maunawili Waterfalls Trail Junction, which is about 3.5 miles from Pali Lookout. The waterfalls is about 1 mile down. This junction is at 950 feet in elevation. The waterfalls is at 550 feet in elevation. We decided to take a break at 0900, going for another hour or so. Woohoo! We were never on this part of the trail. From the waterfall junction, its trail was pretty decent with some overgrown bushes. There was some mountain apple trees and the mountain apples. We hiked about 2.5 hours and just over 4 miles. When we were out of tree canopies, there was a view of Olomana 3 peaks and the Ko'olau mountain ranges to the right. This was just over 4 miles from Pali Lookout. Most of the Maunawili Trail were like this with overgrown bushes and shrubs. There were sometimes sharp drop-offs to the left that we had to be careful with our steps. Here was another example of overgrown bushes and shrubs. Here was a big downed tree that was laying on the trail. After the Maunawili Falls Trail Junction, there were several bad downed trees like these. There were 4 to 5 of these big trees on the trail. For some reasons, when I see a big tree, I just feel different and good. Maybe it's giving me endorphins. Maybe that's why I would like to hike in the mountains. Here was Leon munching on a mountain apple. It's a mountain apple season in this area. We have been hiking almost 5 hours and just over 8 miles. Here was another presentation of its trail condition with overgrown bushes and shrubs. Its trail is actually excellent if it's cleared of bushes and shrubs. The views along the Maunawili Trail is very limited since you are hiking on the north side of Ko'olau mountain ranges in the forest. When there are openings, you would see the Kona Huanui 2 or simply K2, which is the tallest in Ko'olau mountain ranges or the second tallest in Oahu after Mount Kaala in Waimanalo mountain ranges. K2 is 3,150 feet in elevation. Mount Kaala is 4,025 feet in elevation. This was one of several downed trees on the trail. This video was taken by Leon. This was about 5 hours and 25 minutes in. This was a wonderful view of the tree roots. This is one of rare views of the natural beauty in the forest. This place is not too far from Waimanalo Trailhead. It is less than 2 miles from the Waimanalo Trailhead. Trail was quite nice after about 8 miles, but then there were these downed trees. This was probably the worst. There was numerous downed trees that we had to navigate through. We were less than 2 miles from Waimanalo Trailhead. Here was me scrambling over the trees. When I see the downed trees, I first see if I can walk around them instead of going under or over. It's tough on the knees if you crouch down. When going over the fallen trees, each step needed to be taken gingerly. It's not easy. Leon, who is close to 79 years old, has been doing very well in scrambling. He is quite agile.
Yeah.
Look at this interesting palm tree. It's a big palm tree, but more than half of its roots were exposed. Strong wind might knock over right across the trail. These signs were less than 1 mile from the Waimanalo trailhead. It is more like the beginning of the Maunawili Trail traversing to the Pali lookout. Just less than 0.1 miles, there is a junction with Kelowina Street. Looking at Google Map, it is a dirt road that connects to the Olomana area to the north. This is the junction with the dirt road, Kelowina Street. From here, its trail is a dirt road. We are less than 1 mile from Waimanalo Ditch Trailhead. This must be a very popular walking and biking trail for the residents around here. Alas, I had to use my GPS to navigate because its dirt road had some hairpin turns, and there were some mountain bike trails all around. I say that you could navigate without a GPS unit by just going downhill. Leon called his wife to pick us up since we would be at the Maunawili Ditch Trailhead less than 1/2 hour. Here was a mountain biker. It might be tough to going up but fun to going down. The bikers were nice people. We met them at the trailhead and they offered us a ride to Pali Lookout. Here were some kids turning to Maunawili Ditch Trail. Maunawili Ditch Trail is out and back about 5.5 miles with 950 feet elevation gain. Its trail heads to the northeast from its trailhead. There was a nice trail sign. Its trail can be hiked without any navigation tool. Here were a couple of bikers just above the trailhead. This was end of traverse from Pali Lookout to Maunawili Ditch Trailhead in Waimanalo. We can tell that it is well used and very popular trail, but not to Pali Lookout. We started hiking 0610. We finished our hike at 12:30 that included 20 minutes break at 9 o'clock. So, it was close to 6.5 hours of jaunt. This place is the Maunawili Ditch Trailhead. On Google Map, you can type Maunawili Ditch Trailhead, Waikapania Street, Waimanalo, Hawaii, 96785, to get here. Thanks for watching my video. I am a free Hawaii hiking trail guide. Hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel and be notified when I make a new video of my outdoor activities.